All right. So for all of you late arrivers, sleeper inners, there's plenty of room to come up to the front. Once you guys, there's a lot of people sitting in the back. Part of our service, a big chunk of our service is actually going to be around the tables. Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Marty Mance, and I am the transition. Ooh, that sounds a little better, actually. I'm the transitional pastor here. I've had the honor to be in this. I've had the honor to be in this role since last May, even though Mountain View has been Patty and I and our family's family since like 2011. And I was sitting in the back, and during worship, I was reminded of back in 2021, Patty and I and the kids flew to Indiana for our oldest daughter's wedding, and it kind of feels like that. For those of you who don't know, let me explain. For those of you who don't know, we decided as a congregation, for the most part, 92% of the congregation decided to transition Mountain View. Mountain View will remain, but the chapter, as Courtney said, will be concluding, and a new chapter will begin under new leadership with similar yet different ministries. And so when Patty and I flew to Indiana several years back to marry our oldest daughter, it kind of felt like that a little bit of, when you marry off your child. And I had the privilege actually to walk her down the aisle and then turn around and perform the wedding. And I remember I had this thought I never actually said it to her now husband, because he's a really good man, but I had this thought that I lingered on probably for a little too long, and I had this thought that said, you better take care of her because they'll never find the body. I kind of had that thought. And I had this similar thought about actually like our church family here, is that I don't know how many of you guys are going to continue on. I know some of you have already expressed that you're going to be looking for a new chapter outside of Mountain View Church, and that's okay. And there'll be more communications around that coming up. There's no real special announcements outside of next Sunday. The 3rd is going to be our last time in this chapter. We're going to actually have a celebratory. There won't be tables and chairs set up. And if you're wondering why the tables and chairs are set up the way they are, is because we wanted to make sure there was an intimate, a special time for those of you who have remained over these last several months and still call Mountain View Church your home and your church family. So we wanted to create space for that, because next week it's going to be it's going to feel different. It's going to be celebratory. We've invited people back that have been here for almost 3 decades as well. So many of those faces you may not recognize, but they've been part of the history of here at Mountain View Church. And so that's why it's a little bit different. So I want to read to you Psalm 136. I won't read all 26 lines in it, but I want to read to you this. So if you can just still your heart, and I want to read to you these verses from Psalms. Verse 1. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. Give thanks to the God of gods. His love endures forever. Give thanks to the Lord of lords. His love endures forever. To him alone does great wonders. His love endures forever. Who by his understanding made the heavens? His love endures forever. Who spread out the earth upon the waters? His love endures forever. Who made the great lights? His love endures forever. The sun to govern the day? His love endures forever. The moon and the stars govern the night. His love endures forever. And then the psalmist goes on for the remaining 26 lines with this repeat of these statements, these proclamations about the Lord and his love enduring forever. Talks about how he struck down the firstborn of Egypt, divided the Red Sea, brought Israel, gave an inheritance, freed from enemies, feeds every creature. His love endures forever. And you may be wondering, why is this important today? Well, it's important today because we love and we serve a God of the past, present, and future. You may not have known this, but Mountain View Church got its 501c3 nonprofit status on May 4th, 1998. It's a long time. And God has been moving for almost 3 decades, transforming lives, growing ambassadors of reconciliation. That's you and I, that's us, ambassadors of reconciliation. He's been healing, he's been restoring, he's been renewing, he's been moving, even in this present day. And although there may be some in this room who will not be continue on, he's going to continue to move. He's still moving in this place, in this people, because his love endures forever. Each of us, we're not the people of Mountain View Church. We're the people of God. We're the people of the kingdom of heaven. We are new creations. We have a heart of flesh, not a heart of stone. And we have something that no other faith and no other religion has. We have Christ in us, the hope of glory. Let me say that again. We have Christ in us, the hope of glory. Yeah. Let me read to you Colossians 1:27. He says, in the NIV version, he says, "To them God has chosen to make known among the Gentiles the glorious riches of this mystery, which is Christ in you, the hope of glory." But I also want to read to you the Message version as well. I love this one. It says, "The mystery has been kept in the dark for a long time, but now it's out in the open. God wanted everyone, not just Jews, to know his rich and glorious secret inside and out. Regardless of their background, regardless of their religious standing, the mystery in a nutshell is just this: Christ is in you. So therefore, you can look forward to sharing in God's glory." And it goes on to say it's that simple. You have Christ in you. You are the hope of glory. You are the church. You carry the inheritance. You spread the light and the love of Jesus. So if you're not sure what to pray, or maybe the words escape you during this time, I want to point you back to the chapter 136 in Psalms. Like I mentioned, Psalm 18 says something very similar that 136 says, but it's a great jumping off point. And as your pastor, I want to point you to solid ground. Jesus is the place that we must place our hope in. Jesus is the place that we must place our hope in. His goodness, his faithfulness, his trueness. I am pointing you to the one whose love endures forever. And I know you already know this. I don't mean to preach this to you as well, but it's really a reminder that you are the hope of glory and that his love that's in you is truly, truly endures forever. And so I've been asking the Lord for quite a while now, what does he desire for his people, which is you? What does he desire for you to hear in this moment? And I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer at all. But he actually encouraged me through Jody, my brother, to have this be one of the conversation questions around the table. Because I believe with the over 100 people that are in this room that he has over 100 answers, that the answer that he has for me, for what he wants me to know in this moment, could very well be different for what he wants you to know in this moment. So we're actually going to spend the next 30 minutes together having conversations around the table. And I notice there are some open chairs, so if you feel like you want to kind of move around a little bit and fill in those chairs, come back from the front, you can do that. There's no pressure to do so. But we want to be able to have a time together as a spiritual family looking at 3 different questions. And when I say looking at, just having conversation. You don't have to rifle through all 3. You don't have to answer all 3. But if we can have the questions up here on the screen, I want to point those out to you. All right, let me stand off to the side. They're not going to be on your table. They're just going to be up on the screen. So the first question is, where are you in the process of grieving? Now, there's a Kubler-Ross scale. Actually, Jody shared it and preached on it last week. We'll put that up in a little bit, which is right now. That was a very little bit. I like that. And so when we talk about it's the change management model, it can also be referred to as the stages of grief. And so, and that's actually what we're processing in this moment. So stage 1, just as a quick recap, is a denial stage. Stage 2 is an anger stage. Stage 3 is a bargaining stage. Stage 4 is a depression stage. And stage 5 is an acceptance stage. And as Jody so beautifully taught last week, is we can jump around on these stages. They're not necessarily linear like when you go through 1 through 5. Ultimately, we want to land on 5. But because we're talking about things of the heart, we're talking about our relationships that we have, this will be one of the points of conversations that you may or may not desire to have at your table. So let's jump back to the question. The second question is share examples of where you have seen God at work here at Mountain View Church. And so we talk about these 3 decades this past as each one of you have experienced God at work in your lives, and I'm quite confident on multiple occasions. But this would be great as a form of encouragement. We think about it as altars of remembrance. We read about those altars of remembrance in Scripture, and they're opportunities to look back and to be able to be anchors to see how Lord worked in our lives. And then number 3 is, what do you believe the Lord desires for his people to hear in this moment? That was the question that I had posed initially. And so what we're going to be doing for the next 30 minutes, we've got a little timer going on, is we'd love for you to turn your gaze to one another and simply have a conversation about those 3 questions that we posed. And we'll put on a little house music while you guys converse with one another. Yeah. There are notes on the table that you guys can actually write down some of these altars of remembrance. We'll talk about those more later. Okay, I love hearing all the conversations around the table. We're going to transition to the next part. We want to be able to take some time and space to give you an update on some of the ministries that we have and how they're going to be looking forward. So first I'd like to invite David Seja up to the stage. David? Don't just David. There he is. Come on up, buddy. And then after David comes up and shares about Iglesia Monte Vista and shares about Feed the Need, what's going to be happening with them. Then Jody's going to come up right after.
Hi, guys. I love you guys. Where do I start? Yes, my name is David Seja. Buenos dias. There we go. I always do that. It's honor to be here. Thank you for being here, everyone. I just wanted to, in our staff meetings, I'm on the staff, but I'm not part of staff. If you want to talk more about that, we can talk later. But part of the family, let's say that, part of the family. And we're just talking about how everything's going. I know there's been questions about Monte Vista and Feed the Need and what's going on, and there's concerns. And so one thing I want to announce is that we are continuing as a church and as a ministry through Capo Beach has opened their doors for us to continue to do that. It's a huge blessing, yeah. But I wanted to share just my thankfulness and gratitude for the church. My wife and I were just going through all the emotions and going through the stories. And it's like we came up 2018 through the denomination, the Evangelical Covenant Church, to plant a Spanish church. And we got connected with Mountain View and with Todd. And it was a beautiful journey. And man, it's just looking back and seeing what we've been through, like just behind the scenes, like through all the transitions, from those who know the names. I'm going to drop some names. Drew, anybody know Drew Tilton? Yes, awesome dude. I came in when he was a youth pastor, and then he transitioned out, and it was Zach, and Zach was doing ministry, and then pastor. It's just like all these things that we walk through, and even in our community, and getting to where we are now. In many ways, we wouldn't be where we are as a church without the support and prayers and partnership of Monte Vista. And so I come up here with a heart that is grateful for the prayers and support. And there's a new season coming. And I don't need to say this, but the doors are always welcome for anybody who wants to come and visit and say hi. We'll just be down the street. And so we want to I just come just super grateful. We've gone through a lot as a ministry. I'm looking at Don and Christy over here because they were during COVID, they were the leaders running the show at Feed the Need, and we got connected, and they've just been faithful, and we've walked this out together from our move from the school to back here behind the church, and then Marty's like, hey, you guys got to come inside, and so we've been serving the community, and it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing, and to walk it out with Mountain View and together. And so I just wanted to make sure that everyone knows the gratefulness that we have as a church. I asked Joyce, hey, babe, you want to come up here with me? She's like, I can't. I'm going to be in tears. So we have a lot of love for you. And we ask that you could continue to pray for us. And we will continue to pray for what God is doing. There's one verse I want to read. And then I'll pass it on to Jody. It's in the Bible. I know it is. Ephesians 3. It's Paul's prayer for the church of Ephesians. He says, I pray that out of his glorious riches, he may strengthen you with the power through the Spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power, together with all the Lord's holy people, to grasp how wide, how long, how high and deep is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God. As you continue in this walk, we know that there's going to be different opportunities, different places to be. Know that as you continue, stay rooted in the love of God and what he has for this church, if it's continuing with movement, and if it's this healing process, it's okay to not be okay. We've just talked to several people that we're just going through the motions and the feelings. And it's okay. It's okay. Love you guys.
David, say hi, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to give you a few updates, and this is going to be crazy because I got 3 different sets of notes. First, so an important ministry partner with Mountain View, you got the update from David about IMV, Iglesia Monte Vista, and Feed the Need. Some other updates. There's a group of women, Bible Study Fellowship that meets here weekly, over 100 people, women, the best kind of people. And amen, right? They are going to be moving to South Shore in the fall. So that's the plan for that ministry. A couple other ministries I know you guys care a lot about. Lighthouse, which is a special need ministry on Monday nights, and Summit, which is so near and dear to us, adult special needs on Thursday nights. AA meets here every week, as does Al-Anon. All 4 of those ministries, new leadership that's coming in wants to keep all 4 of those. Now, the details are still being worked out, so we still need some prayer and probably some financing. I know that Stratton Summit has his own 501c3, and I would encourage you, if you've ever been to The Happening, which is his office space over by my dentist, which is crazy when you're sitting there in the chair and you hear what's happening next door. It's a tremendous ministry. We love Stratton very, very much. And then this is new to me, the Restoration Ministry, which is just integral to everything that's happened at this church, starting with authenticity with self. I think there's 13 people that are part of the restoration ministry. What's ironic is 2/3 of the people in the restoration ministry are no longer in this state. They've been scattered, like we talked about in Acts chapter 8 last week. But restoration ministry still happens, thank you to technology. And so they are thinking potentially of relocating to another church, but they're also considering forming their own 501c3. So I think that's pretty exciting. You know, this could be, as Rob said at our table, wouldn't it be neat if in the not too distant future, or in the way distant future, people trace, oh, you're one of those Mountain View people. Oh, you're one of them, right? The place where it all began, it got started. I want to talk a little bit more about transition. Emily, Zuna, all of you are, right, at your table. You got the QR code. This is not evil. You can scan it. It won't take you anywhere bad. But you are welcome to stay connected digitally if you're of the Facebook type. You can join that group, and she will let you in if you provide her, how much? 45, no, actually. Just a smile, and you can stay connected with the Mountain View Alumni Association. And there will be no request for money. My universities are driving me insane. And then the other thing, Bernice and I will be initiating, and there will be others helping us out. Can you put the slide up for us, Jeff? We're going to start a 6-week program. We're going to conduct it kind of in the manner of the Practicing the Way classes. This will be at 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoons. We're going to start May the 17th. And we've secured a location, graciously, it's being provided to us, that could host everybody here. The idea is this is not a church. This is not a church plant. This is not a replacement for a church. This is a support group for all of us as we are reorienting, as we are finding our next chapter. So the reason we chose that time, maybe you want to check out a church, starting with here on the 17th, and then you could come bring your lunch or come after lunch, and it's a place we can huddle together and we can talk about how it's going and what stage of grief are you in, and what are you seeing, and what are you exploring. So that'll be a 6-week program starting May the 17th, 1 o'clock, just up, if you keep going up Del Obispo, right immediately after you cross the 5 freeway, it's that office building. So it's very, very close, and it'll be about an hour and a half long. We want you to please contact Bernice, not me, Bernice Giles, at gmail.com, so we can get an idea of how many people are going to be coming and going. Anything else on that, honey? We good? Okay. Thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. We decided to do something different today. As you know, this church, we celebrate communion weekly. It's an important part of our liturgy. It's an important part of our faith. And normally, you know, we have servers and we have the lines and we have people come up. But as we're in this particular season of change, this table reminds us of what holds us all together. Communion, community. And what's so fascinating about communion and the table, you may be sitting at a table right now with people you don't know very well. We're all one in Christ. Jesus gave us this to remind us it's okay. We're going to be fine. On the night before he gave his life, Jesus broke the bread, He distributed it to the disciples, and he said, this is my body, broken for you. Don't forget. It's how much I love you. Don't forget. And then he took the cup. He said, this is the blood of the new covenant. That old one, all the sacrifice, all the blood on the altar, the lamb, the ram, all that stuff, all that Leviticus 1 through 10, it's over. This is my blood. As your high priest and as your perfect sacrifice poured out for you. Don't forget. Do this in remembrance of me. So each of us, each of you at your tables, what I'd like you to do is look each other in the eye. Share with one another the body and the blood and the hope that he's coming again. So if perhaps somebody would hold the cup or pass it around, and I know we've got the bread, and if you need the gluten-free option, God bless you, they're there too. If you would pass the cup and the bread around, and each of you get ready to take communion at your table. I'll pray and then we'll take the elements together. Jesus, thank you for this memorial service. Even as we've spent time in the last half hour remembering all that you have done in this church for us, we come here this morning to remember you and what you've done for us. Thank you for your body. Thank you for the blood. Thank you for the hope. We honor you as we take these elements.